Am I audible, guys? Good morning. Okay. So, hi everyone. Good morning. I hope everyone is there. No, not so much people. We'll be just waiting for another just like 2 or 3 minutes. Then we'll start with the lecture. Okay. Yeah. Good morning. So, have you all guys revised whatever we have looked upon? Great. Okay. I'll get you with the met.ceiling function that we have looked upon in the previous problem. है ना? Okay. I'll tell you that. So, guys, I it was the question, है ना? It was the question, Navneet, which was completely oriented towards the placing into the formula, है ना? You have to find the 75 percentage of the criteria, whichever the lectures that you have attended and the total lectures. ठीक है? So, math.ceiling function will do what? है ना? We have already looked into the like this way in the browser as well. Like we have looked upon in this that if you do math.ceil of 2.1, then it will give you output of what? 2, right? What? It will give me 2 or 3? 3, है ना? Yes, correct. Because it since is a ceiling function. So what does I mean by the ceiling function? That means if I gave the example of this as well, that if you have a building or if you have a room, then what is the ceiling? The above part, right? This is your ceiling, है ना? ठीक है? So whichever, like if you have the input as 2.1, then you have to round off to the maximum integer number. Which is the maximum integer number that you can think of it? 2.1, that means the maximum you can go up to what? 3, right? And minimum you can go up to 2, है ना? So you have to pick the maximum in case of ceiling, that is the 3. ठीक है? So that is the function of the ceiling function. ठीक है? है ना? You can also look into this into the like JavaScript. And today I'll also go like also we'll also do some programming with the VS Code. है ना? We'll also look into the VS Code. Floor means downwards. Yes, correct. So if you instead of this, if you have the floor function, then instead of the 3 you will get the 2. That means this is your ceiling, this part is your ceiling, that means your maximum number. What is the flooring? This is your flooring, right? That means the minimum number. Okay, so in case of 2.1, what is the minimum number of 2.1? That means 2, and maximum is 3. So in case of floor it will give you this, in case of ceiling it will give you this. ठीक है? ठीक है ना? Any floor division in JS like in Python? I don't know about the Python. Like it, so I cannot comment on this. ठीक है? Okay, so let us start with the today's thing. That will be the quadratic equation. ठीक है? So what do I mean by the quadratic equation? So those who are not from the science background, let me just tell you that suppose if you have any such like scenario which in ever you'll have a particular uh, statement like this: 2x plus 3y is equals to 5. ठीक है? So do you have to compare this with the ax plus by equals to c? So what is a here? A is 2, right? What is B here? Base 3, right? And what is C here? Navjot, Navneet, it's 5, right? है ना? ठीक है? Okay, so you have to compare each and every variable with this, है ना? So what is quadratic equation? I mean, like, this is not a quadratic equation, this is a linear equation. So in the quadratic equation, we'll not go in detail with the maths, है ना? It is like a maths part of the science or engineering background people, but you don't have to learn that. You just have to remember that quadratic equation is this. This will be given in the statement. ठीक है? This entire equation, it will be given in the into your statement or in the problem. ठीक है? So what is this equation? This equation is nothing but minus b plus or minus under root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. ठीक है? So this is your quadratic equation. So you are asked to find the roots of the equation. See, you have been given the three numbers as a, b, and c. Now your task is to solve the quadratic equation and find the roots. Okay, so if you want to find the roots, then this is the equation of that, to find the roots. Okay, there will be two roots. There will be two roots here. Can you see the plus or minus sign here? So one root will be the plus, second would be the minus. That means out of these two roots, the first root is minus b plus underscore b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. The second root would be minus b minus underscore b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay, so you need to find what is the root of this two. Like you need to find the two roots of the equation through this particular formula. ठीक है? Problem clear है? Problem is clear? Yes, no? Everyone, good morning. Yeah, you can use square root of function in that. Yes, yes, है ना? ठीक है? So I'll just give you 5 minutes to think upon it, how you guys can do it. See, formula is pretty much clear, right? Formula is already given. I have already told you like how can you find the two roots of that. So you need to just find like you need to just put it into the equation. But one more thing is that there is a one condition when these two roots would be possible. One more condition is that whenever your uh, you have to first find about the this one b square minus 4ac. If this b square minus 4aac is positive, that means see here it's given. If your b square minus 4aac is equals to 0, then your root would be minus b divided by 2a. In every other case, your roots would be this much that I already told you, this one. So this root would be, these roots are can be possible only if this b square minus 4ac is greater than 0. If it's 0, you know, so let me just write it once again. Quadratic equation and its roots. Okay, so those who are not from the science background, I'll just repeat from them for them. If you need to find any root of any quadratic equation, then the formula is minus b plus or minus under root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, है ना? ठीक है. Now you need to check the condition whether your this b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, then your roots would be minus b plus underscore b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. That will be your first root. The second root would be minus b minus underscore of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. This would be in the case of what? B square minus 4ac would be the positive scenario. But if this b square minus 4ac divided is equals to 0, then your root would be minus b divided by 2a. That means that's this much of simple thing. Okay? So you need to check in terms of the condition. So first you need to find the b square minus 4ac whether it's equals to 0. then your root would be this much minus b divided by 2a. If b square minus 4 is greater than 0, then your root would be this much minus b plus or minus b square and minus 4 is divided by 2a. In every other case, there will be no roots found. Okay. So now just think about it how we can implement that. And I'll just give you 5 minutes. So question is clear for everyone now. Okay. Great. ठीक है ना? It's pretty easy. Yes, no, everyone. Hello. Yeah, great. Okay. So I'll just give you 5 minutes to think upon it. We'll be back in another 5 minutes. Like at 10:20, we will be back. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm back, guys. So can you implement? Yeah, that works in what is kind time complexity? What is big go? We'll just see that with Shivam. You know, we'll see that in DSA classes. Don't worry about this. We'll learn this. Now, you for now you can implement it with anything that you can think of. You know, okay. My question was, can I? Okay, checking three conditions. Okay. So Vaibhav says we will be checking three conditions. First condition, that will be b square minus, that is not AC, Vaibhav, that is 4AC. So b square minus 4AC is positive. Then root will be exist. Okay. If it's zero, then only one root. Fine. And if root, if there is nothing is happening, then real roots are cannot be exist. That's great. That's perfect, Vaibhav. That's something what I was looking for. That's fine. Okay, we'll do this only. That's great. Very good. Okay. Like it says, root zero is zero, so b square minus plus. No, you are complicating the thing. Click it. I think so. We'll look into it just now. I will tell you the solution for this. Okay. Your approach is, I think so, wrong. Okay. First, we'll find b square minus 4ac, store it in a variable, and run if else to find the conditions. If condition satisfies, then run both formula, give the output. Uh, Pretty partially right, click it. But what if my b square minus 4 is 0 here? And that will be not covered in your particular scenario, right? But partially it's right. Okay. Where d is equals to console draw, creators does not exist. Okay, we are posting the code. Ekta, see, if I don't think so, you were in the previous classes or not. I don't know about it, but see, I will always be asking about the logic. See, the other guys are posting the logic, है ना? They are not posting the code. I don't want the code. I just want the logic. Okay? If you know the code, then you can, but for sure that you can implement the logic only, logic also. Dipanshu, why you love switch case so much? Like in the previous scenario, like in the previous class also, you were trying to impose the switch in every other cases, right? So I told you, na. So switch where the switch case can be implemented, guys, where you have only one variable and the multiple cases of that, है ना? So in this case, you can also implement the switch case here, but it's not preferable, है ना? Because why unnecessary you want to do something else? Okay, you can implement that for sure, है ना? If you want to implement with switch case, then you can do that. How? You will just no hold this value of b square minus 4 is in one variable. You will check this in the switch case, and you will check whether this case is positive or not, है ना? ठीक है. But in case whether, can you please check, like can you check whether the variable is positive inside of case? You will just have the value inside the case. You will not check the condition inside the case, as we have looked in the previous scenario, है ना दीपांशु? ठीक है. यस 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 या ठीक है. सो अननेसेसरीली हमको इम्पार्ट नहीं करना है स्विच केस को कहीं भी. इफ इट्स नीडेड देन एंड देन ओनली वी कैन यूज इट, अदरवाइज विल यूज इफ एल्स, अदरवाइज विल यूज समथिंग एल्स. ठीक है. ओके. हाँ, वी कैन नॉट यूज स्विच हियर. So how to take KBC input from the console? Shivam, that is something which is not covered yet. Uh, Dipanshu, no code is needed. Ekta, I missed couple of classes. Please excuse me. Okay, Ekta, I will highly recommend. Please watch the recordings. है ना? Those would be covered in your like those will be available in your say in your dashboard or in your no, portal, so you can look into that. Okay. So now we'll be back with the logic terms. Okay. So we have already looked upon what is the logic here, है ना? So how to implement that? I'll just tell you, and I want you everyone to implement that now only, है ना? I'll for this I'll not be able to run the code, है ना? I'll not do that. It will be completely based on you. You will be running your code now or later on, है ना? But I'll tell you how to do that. I will guide you, but I'll not do as I did in previous problems. Is that okay with you? I want you to be active in the class. Okay? Is this okay with you all? Yes, no, guys. ठीक है ना? Okay, let me just tell you how you can implement that. I'll just guide you, I will mentor you, but I'll not tell you that I'll not write the code for you, है ना? That is what something I meant. Okay, so uh, uh, okay, just a second. Huh. So this will be your particular code which I was talking about. Okay, so you will have three inputs A, B, and C. Okay, you will have some input in that. Okay, in the result part, in the result variable, you will store the value of b square, that means b into b, minus 4 into a into c, that will be your b square minus 4ac. Okay, you will be holding in the this value in the result variable. Okay, now you will check whether your result is greater than 0 or not. If it's greater than 0, then you know that you will have two roots, and that's first is b square, sorry, minus b plus b square minus 4ac divided by 2a under root of, है ना? Second would be minus b minus under root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, है ना? This will be your two roots if this result is greater than 0. So your first root would be minus b plus c. Now I'll just tell you something how you can implement this square root, है ना? You have to find this now. Now another question is how to find this square root. Do you have the same question? How to find the square root? ठीक है, you will find this b square minus 4ac, you will multiply with minus like we will plus minus b divide with 2a, but how to find this root? ठीक है ना? So there are two functions for that, people. ठीक है, so first is the simple one, that is math dot square root. It will find the square root of the given value. So in suppose if you will pass math dot square root of 25, then your answer would be 5. ठीक है, another scenario, another way is that if you don't want to use square root, then you can use this math dot power. In this power, it will be no having two arguments. You know, the first argument is x, second is y. Let's assume. So the x would be your value in which you want to find the square root. Let's say the 25. So x would be the 25, and y would be always the point 0.5, because if you do 25 of no power of 1 by 2, then your answer would be obviously 5. Okay, so either you can use this function, that is math dot power. Inside of x you can pass your particular value, inside the second value you can pass zero point 0.5, because 1 by 2 is anyway zero point 0.5. So 25 power of 1 by 2, that would be also your square root function, that will be 5. That's both answer you can find inside your math dot square root and math dot power. So you can use anything here. So for this scenario, they have used the math dot power function, and they have passed this result value with the zero point 0.5. So I think so it's clear, right? है ना? Yes, no? Yes, right? So math dot power result of zero point 0.5, that means under root of minus b minus 4ac minus b, sorry, b square minus 4ac का root, that will be this. So minus b plus minus b square plus 4ac divided by 2a, that would be your first root. The second root would be the minus only, minus b minus math dot power of result and zero point 0.5, that would be minus b square plus 4ac under root of, divided by 2, that will be a second root, and you will just print out this concept. The roots are r1 and r2, that means your first and second root. But if your result is equals to 0, then your root would be obviously what, minus b divided by 2a. You will just print that, and otherwise you will print no real root found. You want me to implement this, or you want to do it by your own? That both things would be fine with me. Okay, but it's advisable to do it by your own, because we have covered entire problems. It would be your last one. It was your last problem. Math dot power from finding exponents. It would be like math dot power is to find power of something. So you want to find the power of, like, if you want to find 2 raised to 3, then you will pass math dot power. Inside of x you will find you will pass 2. Inside of exponent you will pass 3. So it will be do what, 2 raised to 3, it will give you output of 8. Similarly, we have passed the 25 of 1 by 2. है ना. So in the x we have passed 25, in the y we have passed 1 by 2. So mat dot power 25 1 by 2. That was we did earlier. Can we use result into zero point 0.5? No. Result into zero point 0.5 would be no. It will be logically wrong because this is a power. This is not into, like this is a multiplication operation. Okay. Then can we declare comma exported variable in the JS? Comma separated variables? Yeah, you can declare like here you can declare where a equals to 3 comma b equals to 5 c equals to this. You can declare that. Sir, can we return minus b plus b2 b square minus 4ac by using return? Yeah, you can find by you can use the function in order to return something. But see, function is what? Function is a set of statements, है ना? Function is set of statements, but here you will have just one statement like return is equals to minus b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Yeah? So this would be only one statement. So for this just one result, you cannot declare a function. You know, it's not good practice. If you have multiple things to do repeatedly, then and then only you have to declare a function. It is clear, Dipanshu? Okay, Vikas, I'll be explaining for you again. Like if I make a bracket, will it look for function? Dipanshu, how can you declare a function? Can you please tell me what is function? Anyway, don't worry, Dipanshu. I'm also covering this entire topic of function today. That is your topic of today, है ना? So don't worry about this. I'll just tell you this. Return. So for this, like if you want to use this return statement, Dipanshu, you need to embed it into inside a function. Otherwise, it will not no return anything. You'll have a error like syntax error. You can just compile it in your JavaScript or in your VS Code or in the browser or anywhere else, and you will see the output of error. Return statement cannot be used without a function. Okay. Okay. So Vikas, for you, I'm repeating once again. So because we already seen that if your result like minus like b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, then your two real roots would be present. The first would be minus b plus b square minus 4ac under root of divided by 2a. Second would be minus b minus under root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. This would be your two roots, like one is plus, one is minus. Okay. So how can you implement this particular square root function? Either you can use mat dot square root function or you can use mat dot power with the 1 by 2, that means zero point 0.5. Now, so both would be fine with you. So you need to find minus b plus mat dot power of result and zero point 0.5 divided by 2a, and second would be minus b minus mat dot power of divided by 2a. Those would be your two roots. If your result is equals to 0, then only your roots would be minus b divided by 2a. Now this would be we have seen this in the problem statement. Okay. So if your result is equals to 0, then your root would be minus b divided by 2a, and else otherwise no real roots would be present. Okay, because why you wrote 0 0? Okay, okay, that's good question. So do one thing, do one thing. You can just try with 0 and 0 0.0. You know, so 0 0.0 is decimal points, 0 is integer. You know, what is the difference between in this particular question? You can tell me. Okay. So I'll just tell you that see no, let me just put it in you only, like put in your head only. You will tell me why we use 0 0.0 instead of 0. Okay. Try the question with 0, try the question with 0 0.0 and tell me the difference. Not now, later on. Okay. In a doubt session you can tell me that why we have used 0 0.0 here. Okay. So root 1 equals to root 2 equals to b by 2a. Will it be correct? Yeah, you can also use that. But if my b square minus 4ac is equals to 0, then the root would be only one. That is not two roots. You know? So root 1, root 2 is not there. Just root. Okay, just use root only. What is fast power or squared? Fast? Okay, what is fast power or square root function? It's somewhat similar. You cannot find, there's a negligible difference in between those two, so you can use any of them. But I think so power would be the fastest. You can also look into, like, you can also explore that, but it's like negligible difference. You can will not find it much in your code compilation or code interpretation. Okay, because of the conversion when we divide, okay, it become float. Yes, that is the reason. Okay, for everyone else, please try on by your own. Why we have used float here? Like, sir, for can a function return one value or for one case and two return for another case? Yeah, it can be done. It can be done using if else condition. You can return, like, if my root is this, then return this. If my root is this, then return this. You can also, implement such things like this. Function can return this also, but at a time only one value can be written, either from the if condition, either from the else condition. Now, two values cannot be written from any of the function in any language. In JavaScript also. Okay. So Nayan says math.power. Nayan, result. Okay, I'll tell you. Let me share my screen, Nayan, for you. Okay. So I hope my screen is visible now. Okay. Nayan, am I visible? Okay. So see, Nayan, you need to find the square root of 25. If I'll tell you, okay. So we'll do by two ways. First is math dot square root function. Inside of this, you need to just find the 25 only. Okay. Okay. We'll run this. We can have the result. But the second way is, see, any number of any number power, like for an example, for any number, such as x, if you need to find square root of this, then it will be equivalent to x to the power of 1 by 2. That means x to the power of zero point 0.5, so this is a rule of maths. ठीक है? The same way we have used here. So you need to find the power function. You need to use the power function, and you need to, inside this will be accepting two values. First is your value, that means your 25. Second would be your 1.5, that means your this one. So first one is your x, so 25 is your x here, and second one is zero point 0.5. Okay? So in the second argument you can pass 0.5. You can see now output. We'll clear this. Output is same, right? So this is the same case what we have implemented here. Am I clear, Nayan? ठीक है ना? ठीक है. If we don't make zero case, won't be that more optimized. Make zero case, that means, okay. But in case of other cases, so Dipanshu is asking me that, sir, if we use switch case, that means, okay, let me test, clear with you this also. So what we have did is, we have find the result first. That would be your b square minus 4ac. Okay. Now we will check whether it will be greater than 0, then your two roots would be present. If it's equals to 0, then your root would be minus b divided by 2a, right? Okay. This is what you meant, Dipanshu. Okay na? So inside of switch case, now you will check this result variable. Okay. So Dipanshu is saying, can we implement this switch case with case 0? So in case of result is 0, like answer of result is 0, then you can do your root is minus b divided by 2a. But in other case, like if it's positive 0, then how can you check here? What would be your check here? Like you need to put the exact value of result, but you will not find the exact value of result in every case. So this switch case cannot be implemented in this particular scenario. If ignore y cannot be used for power, we have seen addition with the number. Vaibhav, I'm not understanding your question. Okay, why can not use multiplication for power? Okay, okay. So see, if I'll tell you, Vaibhav, that if you need to find the 5 raised to 2, okay, what you will do? 5 into 5. If I'll do 5 raised to 0.5, what you need to do? So for an instance, if we just multiply Let's say for if you multiply 25 into zero point 0.5, what would be your answer? If your answer is 5, then you can do it. Otherwise, it's not. Vaibhav is asking for the caret symbol. Okay, okay. So he's asking about the caret symbol. Okay. So, okay, this one, right? Okay. This is right. So for the caret, it's returning the same value. This caret cannot be like, no, it cannot be used here. But for the multiplication, if your answer is giving you the perfect result, then you can use it. But if it's not giving me the perfect result, right? So multiplication cannot be used here. Okay, Vaibhav. So either you need to use the math dot square root of math dot power function. Max says I have a doubt, not from the topic. Can you tell how can you solve 10? Okay, okay. Will just cover this Mac in a while. You know, if I will forget that, please remind me. So let me just first complete this one. If we can write case if greater than 0. Amit, try this. You can implement this or not. Just tell me. Amit, you can try this, whatever you have written, and tell me you can implement it or not. Sir, what if? Okay. ठीक है. Okay. So Mike, coming to your question, Vaibhav, like Mike is asking us something related to this. Let me share my screen. Okay, Mike is asking us to solve this. Okay, Mike, you are asking the same. Okay, let's just check it. It's written in true. Why? Because this plus symbol will convert it this much. Like you can also check it by this. You can just execute this one like plus and string 10. What it will do, it will convert your string to the integer one. You can see that, Anna. And before that you are checking the 10 which is of integer type or number type. You are checking the same with the number type, so your answer would be anyway true. Okay, okay. So like this you can try it, Anna. Make first it will compare then add. No, it will first convert and then it will compare. 25 raised to zero point 0.5. Bharat, you can try the 25 raised to zero point 0.5 whether you can able to get answer 5 or not. If you can, then you can use it, otherwise you cannot. As simple as that. Okay, people, है ना? Yes, like a type of plus string 10 would be number, because plus would be anyway convert the string to the number, and that is why you are getting your type of this. It's a number. Okay, it will give math is not defined, so try to use math in capital, like M would be capital in that. M small h small t small h. Okay, Ashish, try that. So with that's great, you have done the code. Yes, one. Okay, 1 plus 2 would be 1 2. Yes, because see, Navneet, Navneet is saying us math is not defined still, because so you can use something like this that we have already seen. Okay, I'll just give you the code for that. Math, this is a math dot seal, or math dot, you can use anything, right? Math dot seal 2.1. Just try this, whether you can get some output or not. You has, like, you will get for sure. Okay, so Navneet is asking that, sir, 1 plus string 2, this answer is 1 2 in the string, you know. But if I'll just remove this 1 and I'll just give the plus 2, plus and string 2, my answer is 2 in the number, you know. So this is done because you are not passing any operand or any operator, like you have operator as plus, but in the previous case where you find like where you pass integer, so integer plus something would be concatenation operator, would be the concatenation thing. As we have already seen, it would be convert in the string because string is superior, we have seen in the type quotient. If you don't know about this, just read the PDF that we have covered in that particular scenario. It's completely written that string is the superior one. But if you not pass any argument in the like any operand as number, now you just have plus and then string, so it will anyway convert it into the number because you are not passing any kind of other number or the thing. That is why the plus would be acting here as a addition one, not the concatenation one. Okay. Parag, your code is not working. Can you please tell me what is wrong with your code? Okay, Dipanshu, it's work for you, right? So that's great that you have tried. At least you have tried, So now what I'll do now, what I will give you the task that try to implement the same thing, Try to implement the same thing without using the any if condition with the help of switch case only. Can you do that, Dipanshu, for me? है That's great. See, guys, Dipanshu is really trying hard, huh? So everyone, please work like this only. You have to try. You have to cover the each and every scenario. You have to explore the other possibilities as well. He's thinking out of the box. Like we are using if else, but he's trying to import something else in our problem, So you have to think in that way also. ठीक है. Okay. Uh, can we assign three variables in one line? Yeah, you can do that, Mac. Try to do this also, such as where a equals to 2, b equals to 3, c equals to 5, or anything like this. Try to implement something like this. ठीक है. Okay, Parag, 1 plus 2, that would be 3. Yes, because plus 2 would be converted into the integer 2, and 1 plus integer 2 would be 3. कोड कॉपी नहीं हो रहा चैट बॉक्स में. ओके. So Parag, can you please just tell me what kind of error you are facing right now? Magda, you need not to try anything. I'm just resolving the doubts of the people. No real roots. But you're like I'm not sure like your code is working or not. Okay. Anyway, so this is for about like this is all about the solving the problems with help of if and no particular the case of for the uh, this particular thing, that is switch case and conditional iterative statements and this all. Okay, now we will learning something else, that is today's topic. Yeah, great, their code is complete. Okay, which you can use it, but I have not covered it right now, for some reasons. Okay, wait for some other sessions. Okay, I'm trying to achieve it using the function. Hariharan, I cannot able to see your code, so can you please tell me what kind of error you are facing? But using the function, if you are trying to do that, then I don't think so that can be like that would be any problem, because the function would be anyway the simple thing, right? Inside the function you will just define the logic whatever we have written and just calling the function with the three values. So okay, try here, and I think so you have the syntax mistake here. Try to check whether your function syntax is proper or not, like proper parenthesis or not, closing and opening. Okay, try to do that. Okay, na? Okay, so these are the things that we have already covered, okay, in previous sessions, like variables, the conditional statements, the iterative statements. We have already covered the advanced topic of this as well, and we have already seen what kind of other problems that we can solve. We have almost solved 6 to 7 problems. Okay, so now if you want to try it or at your home, then you can just search on Google that no the problems with the conditional statements, the problems with the conditional statements, or you can also search like the basic problems with the conditional statements, and you can practice from them as well. But don't just directly jump on some advanced websites such as lead code, because they will not have some easy or some basic problems that we are targeting right now. you know Slowly and gradually we'll learn this also. So we have to climb a ladder. Okay, right now we are at the bottom of the ladder. We are trying to learn how to climb. Once we will try to learn what how to climb it, we will gradually climb it. Will reach this point. Okay, so for this I need your dedication, I need your attention, and I need no to solve your doubts. Okay, this is all that I want to uh, say. Sharad, it's not on my hand that I can enable you to post anything in your chat, no? But I'll surely pass the feedback to the relevant team, or else you can also pass the same with the student advisor. Okay? Yeah. Okay. So for today's thing, what will be covering is this: what is functions, how to write a function, how to invoke a function, that means how to call a function, what is the advantages of using function, or how many ways we can declare a function, and function expressions, what is function expressions, what is function hoisting. This is a very important, very important concept. Don't miss this function hoisting. It will be I think so 90% it would be covered in your interview, in every interview, because you will be fresher when you give the interview, right? So for the freshers, this would be like hot topic to ask. Okay, what is scope, what is global scope, and what is local scope? So all and all, if we can see, we have covered the entire thing of today's thing, है ना? Yes, no? I was covering your all the doubts in during the sessions, and anyway I have touched every topics of this except this hoisting. Yes, no? Okay, so we are ahead of what is advised. Yes, no? ठीक है ना? You know about the functions, how to invoke a function, what is parenthesis of the function, what is argument of the function. You know the all thing. How to like what is the advantage of using the functions. We know each and everything of this, but still we'll learn it today. Okay, in detail, so that you will not able to, you don't have to remember anything. It will be by any way it would be memorized in your memory. Okay, so let us first learn what is functions. So can anyone tell me what is the function? What do I mean by the function? It's also called as method. Okay. Okay. Uh, Block of code. It returns a value true. Small reusable code true, but it can be big also. Subrajit, it's not entirely true that it's small. It can be big also. That's great. Okay. Block of code to reusable block of code. Correct. Block of code that is executed together when it's called block of program. Correct. Sorry to join the class. Till now in today's class, which topics are already covered? Lanjan, we have already covered like some of the problems, and now we are trying to learn what is functions and what is the use of that and the advancing of that. You know, indented bulk of code. Functions may consist set of operations. Correct. So if I'll tell you in the real scenario, then uh, this is your magic box, or this is your no pencil of Shakalaka Boom Boom. You know, I think so. You are already aware about Shakalaka Boom Boom pencil. Have you seen this particular serial? I saw this in my childhood. You know, so in that one of the kid has a pencil. As he has a pencil, it has a magical pencil that if he draw anything with this, that object can be present in the real world. Okay. So for that, for that he has a sketchbook, है ना? Now suppose he draws a car in this, he draws a car in this, है ना? So the car would be present in the real. Okay, it would be realistic thing, it would be present in the so that was all the concept on this of this serial, you know. So it was made for a kids. Okay, just like Doraemon and all. So if we want to understand, or if we want to cover it in the coding terms, then this pencil would be anyway the thing by which he draws of it draws any kind of object. Okay, and the process of converting this drawing into the real world object, that would be something known as a function. And this real car would be anyway, it's the output of this function. Okay, so you need to draw something, that means you need to input something, you need to give some input to the box. That means in this case the sketchbook in which you will draw, and your function will do its job, it will process. So this pencil would it do its job, its process, and convert this fictional car to the real one. The box would be do its process and convert by using of this input, it will convert and give us the output. So this particular box, it's something known as a function. Am I clear with this? Okay, for those who have missed other sessions, I am covering from the basics. Okay, Nilanjan, can you please tell me which particular point you want me to explain? How the function is run uh, in the box? Okay, we will cover that. But for now, I'm just I want to just familiar with the term with this function. What is the function? Okay. So how this is converting and what kind of process inside this box is happening, we'll do that. We'll see that in future, in today's session only. Okay. But what is function, you know, right? Now we will pass some input. This input can be null also, it is not necessary to pass input. Okay, this box will do its process and give us the output. You just need to call this function, that's all. Am I clear now? Yeah. Okay na? Okay, so let's see what is the function. The function is a piece of code. So the function is a piece of code that performs a specific task which can be reused. Okay, so in this particular case, whenever you want to do something similar to this case, that you will draw something, you need to you need to convert it into the real object, then you will use this particular sketchbook. That means you will reuse this particular function, you know. Okay, so for that particular specific task or code which can be reused, that is something known as a function. So for an example, you need to write a program to find the sum of two numbers is greater than 10. So we can write this function by following, you know. The function will add two numbers, and function that will check whether the number is greater than 10 or not. So whenever you will have this kind of similar kind of requirements, you will just call this function. You will not write those entire lines of function or logic again and again inside your program. That we have already looked into the example of Umang yesterday, Umang website, right? They have 20 modules. Then why we need to write 4 lines or 6 lines in each and every module, right? We'll just make a function and we'll make a common, and we'll reuse that function. Yes, no, we have covered this yesterday or not? Yes, right? Yes. Okay. Okay, so the main advantage of using function is to make our function more readable. How it will be more readable? That that you will not write entire lines again and again, so it's more easy to understand. You will just write one statement that will be only for calling a function. Let's say if you want to add a function, like if you want to add two numbers, then you will just call this addition function only. Now, you will not write entire code that will do addition operation. It will return our result. You will not write entire thing again and again. So it's more readable. By looking at just this add, you will understand that it will do addition only. Okay. Okay. Dipanshu, refresh your browser. The second thing is reusable that we already covered. है ना? You can reuse your function. You need not to write again your code. है ना? So this both thing are correlated. Okay. Okay. Now we'll see how to write a function. Okay, how we will write a function. So in if you want to write a function, then you need to write a keyword that's a function. You need to write the function name. You can write anything inside this, like greet or greet1 or hello or custom function or anything like this. Then you need to open and close this parenthesis. Inside of this parenthesis you will pass an argument. What is the argument? We'll see that, those who don't know, but I think so I have covered that already, you know. Then you need to write some logic inside this function, and whenever you need to greet someone, you need to just call this function greet by this. Okay, so there are this is something known as function declaration. So function declaration consists of the function keyword. This is a function keyword, following by the function name, the parameters that we will be passing inside this, है ना, ठीक है, separated by commas, ठीक है. And the JavaScript statements that define the function enclose curly braces. That means your logic would be inside of this curly braces. Okay, so this is how you will declare a function. You will write a function inside the JavaScript. ठीक है, clear है, ठीक है ना. People, good morning. I'm just getting the input from just like specific peoples, 5 or 6 only. Okay, I'm creating a poll. Please participate in that so that I can understand that. ठीक है, so all clear, right? That's great. Okay, now we will see what is the why, like how we will pass the function, how we will declare a function with the parameters, and what is the return value. Yesterday one of the guys has asked me the question, what is return, है ना. I explained that. So that is something known as return, but I'll explain again for you. Okay. Okay, now parameter versus attribute. Okay, both are the same, Parag. Okay, now we'll see what is this parameter. If you want to declare a square function, you need to write the keyword function. You need to write the function name, that is square. You need to pass the number which you want to be squared inside this parenthesis, and you need to return number into number. That means if you need to find the square of 5, okay, so the square of 5 would be what, 25, है ना. So 5, so the logic of squaring would be 5 into 5 only, that is number into number only, right? Yes, no, है ना, ठीक है. So inside this square you need to pass the number. That means inside of this square you need to pass 5. That will do your job. It will return what, 5 into 5, that means 25. So this square of 5 would, if you write this, then it would be considered that is as a 25, because this will return 25. That is why. Okay, Amit, you can also do this also. Yeah, that's also fine. Arpit, can be written this way also. Yeah, Arpit, this can be written. Okay, so when you need not to explicit return any value from the function, है ना. So undefined is written by default. So by default the function would return undefined, but if you want to return anything, it would be written the whatever you have written in the logic. And this for the parameters also, if you don't want to pass any parameter, then also it's fine. Okay, but in this scenario, since the square needs the number to be squared, you need to pass it. So where a equals to 5, square a, where here a is argument, yes, correct, and number is parameter or attribute, right? Yes, correct. Look at this, absolutely right. This perfectly right. ठीक है. ठीक है. So just tell me people, how many of you guys right now present in the class, those are from the non-tech background? They don't know anything about the computer language. Please participate in the poll. No, I'm asking about how many of you guys are not from the computer background. Click on yes. Okay, I'm creating another poll, है ना? Click on yes if you are from computer background. Click on no if you are not from the computer background. I want to check that. Click on yes if you are from computers. Click on no if you are not from computer background or non-tech background. Okay, so this ratio is like 60-40 approximately. Okay. Okay, so for those people, are you able to understand every concepts about these functions, about this JavaScript, variables, loops that we have already seen? है ना? ठीक है? Yes, you need to practice it. We will not be able to understand in the single go. है ना? You need to practice and you need to read more. Sharad, okay, so Sharad has a question. Sharad has a question now. That sir, inside of this function, inside of this particular function, suppose in this particular case we have declared a function called as square. Inside of this we have passed argument called as number. Inside of this we had returned number into number. ठीक है? Okay. He is asking me that sir, can I return two things? That sir, can I return number into number as well as can I return like string called as hi? Can I do this? How many of you people are telling me to do this? Like, can I is this allowed or not? So this won't be possible. This is not possible. You'll have error if you execute this. Okay. Why? Because your function's job would be one only. At a time, your function's job would be one only. It can execute, like it can perform, it can do your, it can fulfill your one wish only. So that, so if you can see from of the example of this shakalaka boom boom, okay. So if you draw car, then you can get the car only. You will not get aeroplane. You will not get aeroplane and car both. And so inside this sketchbook page, you can draw one object only. That is the limitation of this particular sketchbook. It cannot process two objects at a time. It cannot produce car as well as aeroplane if you draw it here. Okay. So the same way, your function will do your only one job. It can only do square only. It cannot return any kind of other thing. Either you can return this, either you can return this. Both cannot be done simultaneously. ठीक है? If you write return number into number, yeah, Dipanshu, you can write anything here. You can write anything here. I am saying that you can either return this or either return this. At a time, this can be returned or this can be returned. Both cannot be written. Na? And in this particular scenario, number into number into number or divide by 2, multiply by 2. You can do anything according to your wish. ठीक है ना? Cool. Fine. ठीक है? Till this point. Yeah. So if you want to pass two values here, let's say, that's a good question, Dipanshu. Dipanshu is saying that, sir, can I do something like this? That's function square. Instead of this, if I can pass two values here, like first is number and second is something else, like a temporary value of something else. Okay? So can I do something like this? And I access number here and temp here. Can I do like this? Yes, you can do this. है ना? So if you want to pass multiple parameters, you can separate it by comma. Cool. ठीक है? Shantanu, we have not covered arrow functions, so please hold on. ठीक है ना? Everyone till this point? I hope am I clear with this point? ठीक है? Okay. Yes, you can also do this. You can also do this. Dipanshu. How to get output in function odd and decimal? In fraction. So fraction is anyway decimal only, Parag. Fraction and decimal are same. They are not different. ठीक है? Okay. Okay. Now we'll check how to invoke a function. ठीक है? We already seen that. ठीक है? Uh, so if you have particular function, that is something known as function greet, console.log, hello there. Then if you want to call this particular function, then you need to write a function name and the parenthesis. We have already seen that. This is something known as function invocation or function call. ठीक है? Yes, no? He's asking, okay, about getting 1 by 2, not in 2.5. No, you can, like, you want get output like, so you are asking me that, says, sir, I want 1 by 2, not 0.05. You are asking me that you want this, not this, right? है ना? No, you, there is no way to get output in this, because 1 by 2 would be convert into the 0.05 only. ठीक है? Either we can greet or console.log greet. Correct, correct, correct. Perfect. Mahesh is absolutely right. Perfectly right. ठीक है? Parag, Likhit, am I okay with this point? In function, we can simply print the value from the function. Why we need to return? So both way would be fine. I will not tell you that either you can return hello there from this and print it here. Either you can just print it here. Both would be fine. Both would be give the same thing, do the same job. It is same. Yeah, you can also write in the function console.log. The same way it is written here, you know. If you are using console.log greet, yeah, you need to, if you are doing this that Likhit is saying right now, you need to return that. Okay, this particular things already we have covered, yes, no, many times we have covered in the previous sessions. So I want you to be two steps ahead with the what is given in to us in the slides. ठीक है? ठीक है ना? Okay. uh, Return gives some value, but console.log will shows value is not getting contained anywhere. Okay, ठीक है? So till this point, any point you want me to touch or any particular point you want me to discuss, or absolutely fine with this particular points? Yeah, Likhit will take break at 11:30. ठीक है? Okay. Now we'll see what is arguments and what is parameters. So the basic difference it's different, but the use case it's same. So you can, if you are working anywhere, or if you know you are doing any kind of projects, this both things can be done or can be say in the same way. Okay, but the in the programming terms, the terms like the call and terms are different, but the meanings are same. Okay. Okay, so we'll cover now what is function argument. Okay. Okay, so the function arguments are this. So if you are defining this function, that is function square number. So this number is a parameter of a function. This is a parameter. If you are calling this function square with the argument 2, so this 2 would be your argument, but you can also tell both are the parameters or both are the arguments. You can also tell that, so other developers would get understand by this. They will not have any kind of difference. So it's just calling terms that you need to understand. Okay, so function parameters are the variables names listed in the function definition. That means this is a parameter, and the arguments are the real values. That means this is the argument. Okay. Dipanshu, what will we do with the fraction value? Like if you are returning this or returning this, how does it make a difference? Both are same. If you will call the function without parameter, suppose you have square, like if you have your function greet, it does not have any parameter right now. Okay, so I can call this by this also. You know? Suppose it is having a parameter, let's say number. If you are calling it by this, then it would not called. You know? So you need to match the definition and the calling particular function. You know? Okay. In JS, do we not mention types in the function arguments? No, we will not mention types. We'll just pass the number only. We'll not say that integer number or string number. Will not say that. We just say number. है ना? Yeah, Likhit is having some same error, right? So try this. Try like this also. Okay. Okay. So you need to match the function definition and function call. Okay. Okay. Now, what is the advantage of using a function? Okay. What are the advantage of using a function? So, do you want break right now, guys? If you want, I can give you break right now, because these things we have already covered. So this is not something which is very important. Okay. Okay. So majority is telling me to put a break. I'll put a break now. Na? We'll come back in 15 minutes. Okay. So it's almost 11:20. Yeah, we will can have a poll. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay. So if you want a break, click on true. If you don't want a break, click on false. Okay. 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 So we'll not taking a break now, because 30% is only with the support of the break. Okay. So we'll cover some more concept and we'll take break at 11:30. Okay. Na? Which declaring parameter do we need to define in the variable, like function power let number? No, you need not to write any kind of things like let, where you don't need to write it. Okay. Okay. So what are the function advantages that we have already looked upon in this in the broader manner? Like functions make the code reusable. You can declare a function once and invoke it multiple times. Okay, that's the main advantage of this. Functions improve the readability, you know, by abstracting the piece of code. The functions allows us to divide and complex problem into the smaller problems. That means if you have the complex problems of this like 500 lines, you can divide these 500 lines into 5 functions. Okay, each line would be responsible for 100 lines. Okay, each function would be responsible for 100 lines. That's the same way. Okay, so that's the meaning of this: divide the complex problems into the smaller problems. Cool. ठीक है, समझ में आ रहा है why we need to use the function, uh, why we need to use the function? ठीक है, okay, ठीक है. So now this, for now, right now we are learning something new, है ना? So till now we have learned, till now we have learned that if you want to declare a function, then you need to write the function keyword, then the function name such as greet. Inside of this you can write the logic. Okay, till now we have learned this, but we can also declare a function by this also. Let's say let, then function name, that means your greet, is equals to function parenthesis. Inside of this you can declare your code. Okay, so these are the two ways that you can declare a function. This is your like a pure entirely your conventional function. This is the function as a variable. Okay, so this is a variable also. Okay, so if you want to call this function, you can write something like this: the variable name, that's grit here, and just do this. That means it will understand, like your compiler will understand that you need to, you are calling a function because you have mentioned the parenthesis. Okay, this is also known as like, okay, we'll cover this later. What is this called? Okay, can a function exist without return? Yeah, it can. Aradhya, we have used many functions without return. Okay, you can go through our previous code. Can we write where greet is equals to function? Inside of your code, Arpit, you have mentioned greet and parenthesis. You need not to do that. See how I have declared let greet is equals to function, and this is a syntax. No return type in JS, right? Yes. ठीक है, ठीक है people. Yeah, where can also be used. It's just a variable that is used as a function. So you can, or you can use all the variables that you can think of here. You can also use const. Try to compile, try to try your own as well, like in your browser also. You can get to know. It is same as function grid. Yes, it is the same as function grid. Correct. But here the advantage is that if you declare the function by this way, then anyone will know that grid is a function. Okay, if you just write grid now, let's say for an example, let me tell you in the sharing my screen. Okay, so I will explain this by this. Okay, so now I will like pay attention now, guys. If I'll do function read console.log hi. Okay, okay. Now if I'll try to call this greet and see, this is indicating that this is a function. है ना? Can you see this F symbol? This is a function. है ना? This is a function. If you want to get the function definition, then you need to just write the function name. If you want to call the function, then you need to write the function name and the parenthesis. Okay. Now let's just compare it with the different one. Let's say let greet, refresh the page. Let greet is equals to function. Inside of this, if I'll write console dot log hi. Okay. Now let's check whether this greet is returning what. This also returning a function. So this both are the same thing. है ना? If you click on this greet, and you will have the function body, you know, and if you try to call this, then it also call the same. So are you guys can able to relate it with it that this both are same, है ना? ठीक है, cool. Performing the same, correct. ठीक है. So the syntax that we used earlier for creating the function is called the function declaration, है ना? There is another syntax for creating the function that is called function expression, है ना? This is called as function expression, and the previous one was called as function declaration. Okay, you can use your function something like this. Here we can see a variable say hi. This is a variable, this is not a function. If you access this say hi, then this is a variable. If you just do this, then this is a function. Okay, there's a difference between these two. Being assigned a value, the new function created as function this, we then invoke the function as say hi, like this, as we have already looked upon. Okay, deep we can use anything that we want, but nowadays we use this way. There's no difference in between that, Dana. We have seen that also. There's not much difference. Okay, then why moved that, sir? Because nowadays we are using this because we don't want to expose ourselves. That's let's say in the previous scenario, okay, in the previous scenario we use this greet function, right? Like inside in this function, then greet. So this is a conventional way to define a function. Okay, but if you want to convert this function, you by looking at this you can understand that this is a function and anybody can tweak this. Anybody can tweak this. If he knows that this is a function, then anybody can tweak this. But if anybody, like if you are defining this as a variable, let's say hi, then your function would be fixed because let variable cannot be reassigned, right? Can you remember that? Can you remember that? है ना? So let variables cannot be reassigned. ठीक है? So try to reassign this function if you can. ठीक है? Let's just try it. The same advantage that is let having, the same advantage this will also be having, है ना? Will it give error? Okay, you can try it. You can try it. ठीक है? So let's say we are defining our function as let greet is equals to function. Inside of this, if I'm defining console dot log hi, है ना, or hello. ठीक है? Okay. Now if I'm try to redefine this function as this function console dot log updated function, updated hi. Huh? If I try to do this, it's allowing me or not. Let's just check it. Okay, it will allow, but it will not allow by this that like this. Let okay. If I do this now, okay, just a second. First, I have defined this let greet equals to this. Then I'm defining this let greet is equals to this. So if since it's a function, it's allowing us. But if it's a variable, Okay, I can also assign it by this, like let grid equals to 5. So now if you are trying to access this grid, then you are not able to access the function anymore. Your function is now convert into the variable. Can you say this? So you can, so for an instance, if you have some need, whereas if you have some need in this particular case, where you just need your function to be defined in the particular this particular lines. Let's say for an example, you have your line to be this is a 10 number of program, okay, 10 number of lines of program. In between of line number 2 to 6, you are pretty much sure that you need the function. You have defined that, you have reused the function quite often, like in line number 6, 7, 8 you have used that. But in 9 and 10 you know that you don't need the function, but instead of that you need some variable. So you can reassign this particular functions variable to the some value that you need, and you can reuse over that here. So your only one variable, that is known as greet, is now used as a function as well, and it's also used as a variable as well. So if you have this kind of particular need, then you can use this particular kind of function expression. Okay, yeah, you can reassign but you cannot redeclare it. Correct. ठीक है, redeclare नहीं हो सकता, reassign हो सकता है. So am I clear with this point? Up to this point, everyone? ठीक है, it can be understood, right? In case of redeclaring let, it shows error, right? In case of redeclaring, yeah, you cannot redeclare, but you can reassign Hariharan. Using where would be allowing you. It should allow you. Ekta, which particular point you want me to show? Okay, I'll show that tab again. Can you see this tab? ठीक है, okay, ठीक है. I didn't get the difference between reassign and redeclare. Okay, Mac, I'll just no touch this point after the break, है ना? I'll touch this point after break and I'll let you explain you in detail. ठीक है? So actually in let x equals to 5 and again let equals to 6, it shows error. Yes, because you are redeclaring it. Try to remove this let in x equals to 6. Right? It will allow you to do, because it's a case of reassign. ठीक है ना? Yeah, got it. ठीक है, great. Back for you, I'll repeat that once again once we'll back. ठीक है? So now we'll uh, take a break for 15 minutes. Can I take it? Can I take the break, people? ठीक है, everyone. Now can I take a break? ठीक है. So we'll be back at 11:50, है ना? We'll be back at 11:50. Come recharged, and we'll move ahead with the topics. Yeah, Dipanshu. After the break, I'll explain for you and for Mac. ठीक है? Come back fast. Okay? ठीक है. I'm audible now? Okay. Okay. So I'll explain you. Before the break, one of the guys or two of the guys have asked me one question regarding that. I'll explain you now. Okay. So what is the difference between the function declaration and the definition also, right? And yeah, um, let me just first no share my screen. Okay. I hope you can see my screen now. Am I visible now? Okay. So before the break, we were learning something called as function expressions, right? So in that, we'll declare the function like a let, greet. Yeah, I'll explain that. Yeah, I'm explaining that only. Okay, is equals to function. Okay, okay. Instead of this, I am declaring console dot log I. Okay. Once you have declared that, can I declare this again? Let greet is equals to function uh, console dot log hello. Okay. If I do this and see, there is a error, something called as redeclaration of let greet is not allowed. Okay. So this is something called as redeclaration. Like I have declared let greet and again let greet. Okay. But if I do this, first let greet is this, secondary let greet is this. Okay. So in that case, this is not a case of redeclaration. This is a case of reassignment. Okay. I have just assigned my function to the greet variable which was declared previously in this line. Am I clear with this redeclaration and re assignment? Okay. Now, now, if I'll do this, that yeah, now understood, right? Okay. Now, if I do something this, uh, okay, let's say if I use const here, okay, I clear this, I run this, then see. You know already that const redeclaration is not allowed and re assignment also is not allowed. Okay, in case of const because const is one declared once declared is declared. Okay, so the same case that we have declared and we have seen in the variable scenario, let, var, and const, the same thing you can implement this in the function as well. You know? So if you have some specific requirement wherein you want that your functions cannot be changed, like let's say your function definition cannot be changed. Let's say for an instance to calculate the salary, okay, salary calculation would be always fixed. You know, it will not get changed much often. Okay, so you can declare this as a const only. Okay, can we redeclare allowed in where? What do you think, Amit? It's allowed or not? I'm asking you. In case of where I'm asking, will it allowed it or not? Will it allow or not? Yeah, where is like our friend, right? In the where it's pretty much flexible, so you can do anything you want. You know, Dipanshu, try with where. Refresh your page and try again. Sir, if we do greet equals to 4, then greet equals to 5. This is called redeclare. No, if you do something like this, let greet equals to 4 and let greet equals to 5. This is something known as read declaration. But if you do this, just this, let greet equals to 4, like greet equals to 4 and greet equals to 5, this is something known as reassignment. This is not a read declaration. है ना? Mac, am I clear with this now? ठीक है ना? Okay. And one more thing, whenever you will use this kind of function expressions, then this function is something known as anonymous function. Okay, I'm repeating myself again. Whenever you will use this kind of function expressions, this function expressions is something known as anonymous functions. Just a second. Okay, this is something known as anonymous functions. Why? Because in the conventional function, let's say this, it was having uh no function name. This is a function name, है ना? Function has its name. But in case of our scenario, let's say function expressions, where we are using variable, है ना? We are using variable. Okay? So in this particular variable, it is not a function, है ना? We have assigned a function. This is a function. This part is a function, है ना? We have assigned this function to a variable. So this is a anonymous function, है ना? So if you want to access this anonymous function, you have to use the variable name, not the function name. So can you can you spot the function name here? This is a I have selected the what is the function here. So this function has name or not? Not, right? It has no name. That is why it is called as anonymous function. So this anonymous function you can assign it to this variable greet. Clear है यहाँ तक? Yes, no? ठीक है ना? Okay. If you want to check it, then you can just check it by this, that remove this variable, you know, just try to access this. So this is the anonymous function, you know. Let's just run it. I'll just remove this as well. Let's just run it. Okay. So anonymous function alone cannot be exist. Okay. So function has to have some name in order to execute, in order to call. You know? So that is why we are assign it to the function. That is why we can able to call it later on. We can able to call it later on whenever we want. Okay, just like this. Okay, we call function by name, so greet won't be this function name. No, greet is not a function name. This function is anonymous function. This function is assigned to greet variable, and you are using the variable to call the function like this. This is a variable name. You can do this. That is the thing. Yes, you need to declare a variable in order to work with the anonymous function. Okay, got it now? Okay, now what is the benefit of anonymous function? As you need a variable name to use it. I'll just come into that point. Just hold on for 10 to 15 minutes, just lean. Okay, okay, we'll learn the new concept that is called as function hosting. Okay, can anyone tell me what do you mean by the host? Okay, you have attended the flag hosting programs, है ना? फ्लैग को हम लहराते हैं ना, उसको होस्ट बोलते हैं, है ना? यस नो, है ना? ठीक है. So in case of this function hosting or variable hosting or any kind of hosting, like hosting allows function to be safely used inside the code. Okay? It allows us to be use our function safely inside the code before they are declared. So for an example, if you have the scenario such as like this, first in the first line you have this function add 2 3, and after that you have declared the function. Okay? So in this particular case, add is now hoisted. That means it is used before it is declared. Okay? So let's just read this first. We might expect the invocation of the function add to throw an error because it is declared before it is no it is used before it is declared, है ना? ठीक है? Okay. However, function hoisting lets us use the function before it is declared in our code. So this kind of invocation of the add function does not throw any error in this particular our program. So this is something known as function hoisting. Okay. Let me uh, let me just go through with that. Can allow with where is that a predefined function? Yes, it is predefined function. Okay. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Let's just check it. Okay. So let's say if I have a function, let's say function greet. Inside this, if I'll do console. This is a very important concept. Please pay attention in this. Hi. Now, if I'll access this variable like a function after this, it will be obviously giving me what? Hi, right? Let's just refresh this. It will give me what? Hi, right? Anna? Yes, no? Yes. Okay. But if I'll do this, that if I'll just cut this and paste this out in the very first line of the program. Okay? Okay? So it will also allow us to do that because see the output is same now also. Okay? So the grid here, let me just take this the page. Okay. So here this grid is hoisted. That means whenever you will run this program, this entire program, ठीक है, JavaScript interpreter or compiler will check line by line. It will first come into this line, है ना, ठीक है. It is not a variable, not a function, so it will move to another line. Since it is a function, it will it will record its entire logic of this function greet here, ठीक है, and it will end its execution. Now if you run this program, then it will first come into this first line. It will check grid is there in our record or not. Yes, it's there. So we can run this particular block. That means console.log hi, it will print hi. So it is used before its declaration. There is something known as hoisting. So this is something is also called as like this function. My function is now hoisted. This function is now hoisted. This concept is clear. What is hoisting? What I mean by hoisting? No, it does not mean globally declared. It is just mean that you need to use something before it is declared. That means it's the same thing that you are using a credit card. You know, in the credit card you don't have money, but you are using it. Okay, है ना? It's the same way you are using the function before its declaration. Yes. Yeah, I'll come into that, Dipanshu. What is the benefit of this? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Okay. Now, what I'll do now, we will just check now in the function expressions also whether it's work or not. We have also learned one another thing, something called as function expressions, right? है ना? Yes, no? है ना? ठीक है? So I'll just tell you something. I'll just tell you something in that. Just tell me one thing. If I'll just do this, let's say where test, ठीक है? If I'll just do this, or else if I'll just do this like where test equals to 5, na? And if I'm trying to access this variable test here, what will be my output? What do you think? What would be my output? Let's say let's just no console dot log test. It's accessing the variable, ठीक है? It's accessing the variable 5 here. Clear है? ठीक है? It's the same way it's working in the like it's hosting like test you can able to get it here. Okay, the way you can access the variable of the test. But if I have the function, let's say where greet is equals to anonymous function. This which does not have any name. Now inside of this, if I have console dot log hey, okay. Now if I'm trying to access this greet here, okay. So what do you think? It will access it or not? It will not get access. It will not get access. Okay, it will give you the error. It will give you the error because because so same way they have also did here. Na? They have called this add function inside this particular where function. So they have accessed this and they are getting the same error that we are getting. You know? So I'll just tell you why we are no, getting that because if you try to know just I'm just opening the Chrome and I will just debug that. I want to show you something that is very really important. Okay, paste the debugger. Yeah. Okay, let's just run this. Okay, now carefully, slowly, and gradually we will check. Okay, inside this particular thing called global as well. You know, for now, for now, uh, just a second. Can you see this greet here? Can you see this greet here inside the scope? Everyone, where is the console? Huh. है ना? Can you see this greet here? That is undefined declared. है ना? So if you try to call something with undefined, it will obviously give you error. Yes, no? ठीक है? Okay. So that is why it is giving us the error that greet is not a function. Okay. But now, uh, where greet is equals to 5, and if I'm trying to access greet here, okay, or else if I'm trying to access the console dot log greet here, I'm also putting a debugger here now. Let's just check inside the global. Where's G? Right now, see whenever JavaScript start execution of the program, it will first scans through the program, whichever variables it will get encountered. Let's say where greet, it will make a copy of that. It will not assign, it will not assign the value to the greet. It will just log the value of greet. Let's say हमारे प्रोग्राम में ग्रिड भी आने वाला है वैसे, ठीक है. इट विल लॉग द नेम ऑफ द वेरिएबल्स एंड द फंक्शंस हियर. ठीक है. whenever whenever it will execute another line, it will execute another line, you can see still it's undefined. ठीक है. ठीक है. Okay. Now if you print, if you check the console now, it's printed undefined है ना right now. ठीक है. Okay. Now assignment operator would be done, like equals to 5 would be assigned to left right hand side to left hand side. ठीक है. Okay. Right now also if you can see grid is undefined. If I'm trying to uh, get through the assignment operator, I have clicked on F10. You can see grid is assigned now with the 5. You know? If I'm again click on F10 or F8, you know, you can see it's undefined. It is not, it has not printed. Am I clear? Why it has not printed? Okay. ठीक है. Bit confusing. Okay. ठीक है. तो कंपाइलर कैसे वर्क करेगा, जैसे इफ आई एम रन दिस, इफ आई रन दिस कोड, है ना, whenever I will click on the run of this any code, it will first scans through the program. it will scan through the program. It will log that which kind of variable are used inside the program. Let's say in our case greet is used, ठीक है. So greet का एक log बना देगा हमारे scope के अंदर, है ना. You can also see inside this, where is G. हाँ, right now it's assigned because I have not refreshed the page. I need to refresh the page for that. Okay. Whenever you will run the program, it will first log the value of whichever variable it is used or function it is used inside the program. ठीक है. So इसको ये वेरिएबल की तरह ट्रीट करेगा. इट विल treated as a variable because it is initialized with the var. It will not assign, it will not go to the assignment thing. ठीक है. प्रीवियसली ऑल्सो वी हैड ग्रीट इक्वल्स टू फाइव, है ना. सो फाइव तो असाइन नहीं हुआ था यहाँ पे, अनडिफाइंड ही हुआ था, बिकॉज अभी तो उसको वेरिएबल ही वो असाइन करेगा ना. ये वेर, वेर के बाद क्या आता है, वेरिएबल का नाम ही आता है, राइट. सो इट विल ट्रीट दिस एज अ वेरिएबल राइट नाउ until it will assign to the function, assign it by a function. So right now I am in the first line, very first line. Till this point my program will be scanned through, and whichever variable or whichever function are used inside the function, make a note that this is treated as a variable, है ना, until it is assigned. ठीक है. So right now greet is treated as a variable, it is logged here, and by default the variable's value would be what, undefined. Till this point clear, you are with me? Till this point with me everybody, है ना. Okay. Okay. Now I'll click on F10. Since grid is undefined right now, it cannot call a function. Okay, that is why it is giving us the error, that is grid is not a function. How many of people are you agreeing with me? I'm repeating the entire thing once again, the function hoisting concept. Okay, pay attention in this. Okay, agreed. Why it is showing error in this particular case? Okay, done. In this page, in this particular case, is it done or not? Yes. Okay, now we'll check with the conventional function. That means function greet. Inside this I'll do console, I'll make this as a function, and I'll make this as a console dot log hi. Okay, now I'll try to access it here. Greet, before it was accessing the greet value, right? In this particular case, why it is happening like this, I'm explaining that only. Okay, debugger. Okay, what I did, I just no wrote the simple function, and I will trying to access this once, like before it is declared. It is declared here, but I'm trying to invoke it here. Clear है what I'm trying to do? Yes, no, है ना everyone? ठीक है. Okay, so right now whenever my, I told you, right, whenever I will click on run, JavaScript will run, like scan through the program, whichever function, whichever variable that are declared, which are used inside the, inside this particular case, it will log here. So let's just check this whether it has logged or not. Okay, so can you please check this here, grid is logged here, है ना. So function में एक leverage है कि आप actual function use करोगे with the name function, not the anonymous function. You are using the function with actual name, then it will also log its definition also. ठीक है. So can you can see here the function is logged with the definition. ठीक है, clear? Yes, no? Yes, everyone? Yes, na? It is not showing undefined here, please see, it is not showing undefined, it is showing the function. Where when you are saying undefined, where you are saying undefined? Deepak, what I'm trying to say, whenever JavaScript will run through the program, it will first log its variable and its functions. In case of variable, it will not perform the assignment operator. That is why we had undefined in previous case. But in functions, can you see assignment anywhere here? Has assignment is used here or not, Deepak? No, right? So assignment यूज किया होगा तो वो वर्क नहीं करेगा स्कैन के टाइम. Since here assignment has not been used, grid is the actual function. It has logged the function. It has referenced the function that whenever I will try to access the function, it will go here. Till this point, everyone is with me or not? Yes, no. This highly important thing. Please pay attention in this. It will be definitely be asked and used everywhere in your career and in your interview as well. Don't run the program. Yeah, just first understand na, what I'm trying to explain. Jayesh, ठीक है? Right now, what I'm trying to say, you guys are no complicating the things. What I'm trying to say, whenever you are clicking on run, people, JavaScript will. Okay, let me just close this. I'll make another program for you. And don't confuse or don't apply your pre-read knowledge in this. Whatever I'm trying to explain, just first understand the concept. Don't run the concept, and don't run the code. Did I told you to run the code? है ना? Don't rush to the things, है ना? I'm not rushing to anything. So why you are doing it? Yes, where grit is equals to 5, है ना? I'm doing this. Or let's say where count equals to 5, and I'm doing function grit is equals to, or else is function grit is console dot log hi. Okay, everyone. And then I'm doing where grit 1 is equals to function. This is an anonymous function, है ना? Console dot log hello. ठीक है? Anonymous function में मैंने कोई नाम नहीं होता, ये anonymous function है ना? If you need to assign any anonymous function to a variable, you need to use this assignment operator and you need to assign this to the variable. ठीक है? This is clear? ठीक है? And inside this variable also, if you need to assign the value 5 to the count variable, you need to perform this equals to or assignment operator. ठीक है? But what I am trying to say, from last 20 minutes, many of you guys already got it. 2 or 3 guys are not able to. For them, I'm explaining again with the different terms. Okay, that's okay. That's completely fine. है ना? Okay. If I'm trying to run the debug now, right now, oh shit, 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 shit. Just a second. Eventually, I closed it. Okay. Oh shit, yeah, I closed it. No matter. No, no worries. I'll try to where test is equals to 5 function grid console dot log hey hello, है ना? And in that I'm also declaring another variable called as where git1 is equals to function. It is anonymous function. Inside this I'm already declaring console dot log hi. Yeah, I'm copying this for a future reference, है ना? I'll refresh the page. I'll paste my code once again, है ना? And I'm putting a debugger here. Okay. Till now, you with me? What I did? Do you know what I'm trying to do? ठीक है? Okay. Okay. Now pay attention now. ठीक है? So I'll write for you inside of JavaScript. When you run the code, it will first scans through the code. What this scan will do? It will lock the variable and function. What do we mean by variable? That means ऐसा कोई वेरिएबल आएगा फ्यूचर में प्रोग्राम में हमारे यूज हुआ है वही लॉग करेगा, नॉट द वैल्यू. Inside the function also it will just log the functions line for the future reference. ठीक है. For an example, in this particular case, in this particular case, see what kind of variable that we have used. Test we have used, function greet we have used, and variable greet we have used. Greet one. Do I have used the same, right? The function like variable test, function greet, and variable greet one. I have used that. These three things. Yes, no? Yes, है ना? ठीक है. So let's just check it with the global, है ना? So I have used the greet function. Can you check this greet as a function, because it's a function, right? So it has logged the function, right? Yes, है ना? The name also it has logged. So function's name is greet. Greet one is a variable, है ना? So it has logged undefined is predefined value. Yes, right? Clear, है ना? And with the test, now we'll check the test to the T, है ना? We'll go bottom and RS and something T. Can you see this T? Test is undefined right now. Can you see these three variables? ठीक है. So I was saying that whenever JavaScript will run first, it has not completed its execution. It is just at line first, है ना? Right now it is in the line first. So before the execution is started, it has scanned through the program and it has logged that this many of variables and this many of functions will be used in the program. Clear है till this point with me? ठीक है. Try to understand the concept. ठीक है. Now we'll move ahead. Since this is an assignment operator, test would be assigned. ठीक है. Test will be assigned to value 5, है ना? Let's just check it. RST test is assigned to the 5. Yes, no? Yes, right, right. Okay. Function is already do not have any operators. That's why the control will not go inside this. It has the assignment operator, and right side of the function you have the anonymous function. You want to assign whatever it's in the right hand side, you want to assign it to the left hand side. That means your greet is now not a variable, it's now act as a function. Can you check this? And since it's a anonymous function, it is not having any name. Can you check this? Can you check this here? Right. But if you go inside this, it will have a name of a variable. Okay. So you can access a function through this variable. Okay. Am I clear with this point? ठीक है ना? Okay. So this is the execution. Now we will check, we will modify our program a little bit. Since you understood how this program will run internally, I will try to access this test before it is declared, है ना? This is something known, this is what we meant by the hosting, है ना? So it's declared here. We are trying to access it before it is declared. ठीक है? This is known as a variable hosting. Also, we are trying to access the console.log greet here, or else we are just calling the greet here. Okay, we don't have to console.log because it is already written here inside this here. Okay, and now we are trying to access this again variable greet one, which is used as a function. Okay, okay, this is something what I mean by the function hosting. Yes, no, right? Okay, na? It will be more clear to you. Okay, okay. Now let's just run this. Okay, okay. So since JavaScript, I told you that it will log the entire variable name and the functions, है ना, ठीक है. So right now, as we have already seen earlier, test is what right now defined as undefined. Now you can check the test. We have already seen earlier. Let me go below PQRS and T. Can you see this? This is undefined. So if you try to log anything with undefined, what you will get? Undefined, right? You will get undefined only. Yes. ठीक है. Okay. Cool. ठीक है. So this is why the console.log of test would be undefined right now. है ना? ठीक है. Now I am assigning this value 5 to the test. ठीक है. So now test is what 5 है ना, but I had accessed before it is used, so it's on anyway it will be undefined right now है ना. ठीक है. ठीक है. Right. Yes. Yes. Okay. Now I am calling this greet now है ना. So I'm calling this greet. So inside this greet, if I try to call this function, then it will go inside this function and it will print hello to us, because you can see inside this greet it is pointing to a function. Like that means whenever I will try to call this, it will anyway go in this line number 6, and it will print console.log. It is referenced here, so you can check this by here. Can you see this hello? ठीक है. ठीक है. Now I am trying to access this greet one है ना. So in this greet one, it is, since it's a variable which is used as a function, so you can also see the greet one is still undefined. ठीक है. Greet one is still undefined. So if you try to access it with anything with undefined, you will get what? Error है ना. Greet one is not a function. Now you are clear with me. Now you are with me. Now understood concept. Conceptually, that is something known as JavaScript hosting, and that is the power of debugging. Enjoyed it? Learned something new? Yeah, I'll do that. ठीक है. You can check it any browser. You can check it with any browser. See, what I'll do now, I'll refresh this. I'll try to run this. You can just go with this scope. Inside the scope source, I have the scope line. Okay, so you can go over there. If you don't find it, you can find it with in the call stack also. In the call stack, you have something called as anonymous. You can, in the anonymous, you can watch the scope. If you cannot find it, just Google it. You will try to get it. Hosting return undefined for variables. What do you think, Subit? Try to run this. है ना? Let's try to run this. Uh, we will try to run this. Okay. Let's say where hello, or where count is equals to 5. है ना? 4. I'm trying to refresh the page. Let's say access the count here in the console dot log. ठीक है? Count inside this. Let's put debugger. Okay. Now let's say check the value of count. Uh, Count is right now undefined since it's logged. It's scanned है ना. I'm trying to print the count. ठीक है. ठीक है. I'm trying to print the count is still, you can see, undefined. But there's a catch here. If you try to see now the value of count, it's still undefined, right? ठीक है. It will assign the value of 4 to the count. Now if you see the count variable, it is assigned to the 4 है ना. Assign, like, program is over, and you can see the output as undefined. Cool. ठीक है. ठीक है. Try to run the program like this way. So JS assign functions first and then variables. Don't remember these things है ना. Don't try to remember or don't try to mug up anything. Just see it practically, na Deepak. You will get it, na. See what he's asking us, guys, that in JavaScript, the normal functions that the function will have the actual name, such as function greet, and then we'll write the body of that. And another type of function, that means where greet equals to anonymous function, and inside this will print the console.log. You know? So what is the assignment and declaration between of these two? Is asking that. You know? So instead of Deepak trying to mugging up these things, like which will execute first, which will not, try to debug this thing in your mind. And if I'll see the any code, I'll try to debug it in my mind, so that I'll try to figure out its output in my mind in or at my own. So your efficiency would be improved. You know? Try to use the debugger more often. Try to troubleshoot your code. You know? Try to run your code just one time, as I explained earlier in the previous classes, that try to no write the code first, execute it in your mind, update it, and enhance its logic, and think about the output, and click on run then, and then only once you are confident. And then check the output which was present in your mind and right now in your screen. Compare it. Try to no maintain the harmony between your mind's debugger and actual debugger. Once it's compiled, once it's synced, then you are a better developer. That is something known as a better developer. Getting me? Is it good to practice to host, or simply define then use? It's better to define than use, I would say. But for functions, it doesn't matter. है ना? For normal functions, it doesn't matter whether you are hosting or not, because you can get your output anyway. But if you are using anonymous function or you are using variable, then it's advisable to use like declare first and then use. ठीक है? In what problems hosting is used, we will cover this, Subit. Hold on for a minute. है ना? We'll cover this. So see, in this particular case, where they have used the add function here, and they have declared add function here as a variable, है ना? This is something known as function expression. So this will anyway give them error that add is not a function, because when it's scanned, add is act as a variable and it's undefined, right? We have already seen that. Yes, no? Likit will also see this, when to use anonymous, when to use normal one, है ना? So right now, if you can think about it, we can have this, that if you have some kind of function that is needed to use before it is declared, then you need not to use this kind of function, because it will anyway give you error. So in this particular case, in that particular case, you need to define the actual functions that we have learned, conventional functions, right? है ना? And if you have some specific task, such as salary thing or such as some sensitive data, है ना? So you need to write it inside this particular function, and which is known as anonymous function, है ना? So that nobody can alter this particular function if it's been used with the let, not where. Okay, so you can also take advantage of let constant where, so that nobody can reassign your function or variable. Okay, right? Yes, no? We can use const also. Yes, you can use it. Likit, I have already used in our session also. Today also I have used the const. Okay, okay. So we will understand now what is the scope. We have seen in earlier, right? In case of let, where, and const, what is global and what is local. So it's already been taught in your batch. Okay, so we'll just revise it. We'll just revise it. Uh, Scope is accessibility of variable. Let's say validity of variables, functions, and objects in some particular part of your code during runtime. In other words, scope determines the visibility of variables and other resources of areas of your code. Scopes are of two types, global and local. है ना? ठीक है? So I gave the example before of the of your mobile phone. Let's say if you are using your mobile phone, you are using the Vodafone or your Geo card, and so you are recharging your card, and so they are giving some validity to you that your recharge will be valid for 30 days or only, or 28 days only. ठीक है? So after this 28 days, you cannot make any kind of things. You cannot make calls, you know. So this kind of things are restricted to you. So there's the same way inside the variables also. If you define any kind of variable, any kind of function, you know, so they are come up with the validity of it. This is something known as scope. So scopes are two types: global and local. You know. So let's see. We have already seen this, so we'll not cover in depth of it. Okay. Functional scope is also there, right? Yeah. Yeah. So in the global scope, global means like you can access anything anywhere. Let's say for an example, internet. You know? So internet, if you have internet and if you have laptop, so if you go to the Philippines also, you can access to the lectures. You can attend my session, right? So my sessions are globally occupied, like globally available. You know? Relevel platform is also globally available. Internet also globally available. You can so this is something known as global scope. It's the scope is not restricted to anything. You just need laptop and internet. That's it. You know. So when you start writing the JavaScript in the document, you are already in the global scope. So this entire thing is in the global scope. Okay. There is only one global scope throughout the JavaScript document. है ना? This is global scope. That's all. The variable is in the global scope. It is defined outside the function. That means this is a function. If you declare anything inside this function, then it's a functional scope or a local scope. But if you define anything outside of this, that is something known as a global scope. Okay? Okay? So try to read this code and tell me the output. Try to read this code and tell me the output. People, I'm audible. ठीक है. Yes. So see, it will be only two times, not three times. है ना? First, you are declaring var name equals to hammed. है ना? You are trying to access the variable name. That's simple. It will log hammed. Then you are declaring a function. Na? But when this function will be called, then and then only this will be logged. Like this console.log will be happened. Na? So you are now calling the function and you are accessing the variable value that is name, which is globally scoped. You are getting the output as hammed. This is something known as a global scope. Got it? Okay. Okay. Now, do we doing to use class as well or not? No, we will not use classes. Okay. Now the local scope. The local scope is pretty much simple. Let's say you have this particular function. Let's say some function. Inside of this function, you have this function that's some other function. So this some other function cannot be called outside of this. This has a global scope. This has a global scope. This some other function will only be accessed in the sum function. So let's say variable defined inside a function that are also known as local scope, and they have a different scope for every call of the function. Okay. So if you call this function for first time, this function would be initialized. After this, if you call this function another time, this function would get initialized once again. Okay. Okay. This means the variable having the same name can be used different in the different function. This is because those functions we are bound to their restrictive functions, each having different scope. They are not accessible in other functions. I already explained you, right? And we have already doing did the practical before, like 2 or 3 sessions past. I think so. Yes, no, we have seen the global scope and local scope. है ना? I ran the program. I shown you in the practical way. है ना? ठीक है? Cool. Okay. So in the next particular class, we will try to solve the advanced problem solving and the pattern problems. So the now your actual problems would be started. है ना? So the previous problems were pretty much easy one, but this problem would be much more in the from the advanced level. So we'll focus on the advanced problem solving now, n- with the help of the iterative statements, with the help of the functions, with the help of the loops. Okay? So try to work on this particular things. Okay? Okay. ठीक है ना? So any doubt you have for me? And for today, we learned pretty plenty much of things. We first solved the problems that we pending in the previous session. Then we started with the functions. What is the function? What is the main use case of the function? What are the different types of functions? How can you invoke the function? What is the real function, and what is the expressive function? And we also seen the one of the main concept that is known as hoisting today. Okay, we spent more time in this today. Okay, is there any particular thing that you want me to discuss, or if no, then we'll wrap up for today. I saw the function hoisting in as well, but why we use it? Why we use it? I already explained you, right, that if you have some requirement where your functions, all the functions are declared in the one part of body in the program, in one file. You want to access the function, the real function, and the real function, the name is a name, the real function, you want to access it in the code above one. There are some requirements, huh? So if you have some similar kind of requirements, then you can use the hosting. You know, hosting is not the some concept that you can use. It is been used. Like it's like law. Law cannot be done. Like you can प्यार होता नहीं है, प्यार हो जाता है वैसे, है ना? It's the same way. Like hosting cannot be implemented. It is implemented by its own. The same way. Nitish, what kind of thing? Like which assignment problem? What do you mean to say? And I'm not getting it. Which problem? The age one? The voting age problem? Hariharan, why we used the float? So I'll just no tell you one concept for this, why we used float. So if you have seen the problem, then quadratic roots can be in the floating also. Like it's not necessary that it will be always be in the integer form. It can be float also, you know. So you are multiplying and dividing something with integer, you will always get answer in the integer. But if you do it with the float, then you can get the answer in the float or decimal format. So if you multiply 2 with 2.5, then you will have answer not 5, you will get answer 5.0, you know. That is the same case that we have used, why we have used the in the decimal format. Which problem, Nitish? I'm asking you, which problem? So another function is outside of the function, hence globally scoped. Yes, it's globally scoped. Yes, correct. Exactly. Sometimes Firefox console give weird outputs. Also, I'm not quite clear as of how exactly used to the Chrome debugger. Ekta, I have explained in detail in the previous session only. So you can watch the recordings for that. You can just write debugger and you can able to do that. Please watch the recording of yesterday's class. है ना? Pair of integers to solve the equations. A square plus b square equals to a. This is not done. I haven't used that, Disha. Dishi, I'm so sorry about this. How to enable multi-line console in Brave? You can press. You don't have multi-line console in Brave or in Chrome, but you can press Shift plus Enter if you want to move it to another line. Shift plus Enter instead of Enter. Find pair of integer. Find pair of integer. Which problem you are trying to say, Nitish? I'm not able to get it still. Let me see the slides. I'm not getting it. Which problem you are talking about? First one was voting age, increasing decreasing order, largest number. Then grading system you are trying to say? Grading system? Sixth May assignment. Okay, you are asking about the assignment. So assignment problems would be done on the doubt session. It will not covered in the lecture. No? Assignment. Okay, I don't have any access to of the assignment right now. That is why Nitish, I cannot able to access it. Is it fine to cover it in the doubt session, or you can also connect with to the TA if you don't want to extend it to the further. You can also ask to the TA right now or today. I right now I don't have any access to the assignment. That is why I'm telling you. Is it fine with you, Nitish? Tomorrow is doubt session, Aishwarya. है ना नितिश? Okay, thank you. Aishwarya, tomorrow is doubt session. ठीक है? Anything else that you want me to cover for today? If not, we can wrap up. It will start at 11. Yes, Hariharan, it will start at 11. Okay, from the Monday we will focus on the problem solving, which would be advanced, which will focus on the advanced problem solving. Then it's 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. 1 p.m. Okay, okay, cool. Then we'll wrap up for today. That's all for today. I hope you have learned something new. है ना? That's great that you have asked some doubt. Everyone was participating in the session. That's great. I'm truly the response was truly overwhelming. So thanks for that. And please learn more. And yeah, have a nice weekend also. And have a nice day. है ना? Enjoy and learn more. है ना? Try to learn more and read more things. Function hosting is somehow local, same as local function. No. Yeah. So function hosting is something what no trying to access something which is already been declared, है ना? So it's not being like it's not related to global or local, ठीक है ना? So don't mix that two. Okay. So on that note, uh, we'll wrap up for today, and we'll meet tomorrow at 11 a.m. Till then, take care of yourself, and uh, we'll meet tomorrow. And try to learn and try to revise all the concept that we have learned, है ना? ठीक है? So goodbye and have a great day, great weekends, है ना? Bye.